Hello again, welcome to the workshop flow where we will be discussing sustainable cities and experimenting with designing an electric car. So to go to the Sustainable Cities lesson plan, we're going to go to the Twin Library at our portal and we're going to select World Science Movement Term 1. If we scroll all the way down, we can see the Sustainable Cities lesson plan. If we get into this one, similar to the previous lessons, we're going to see an introduction, learning objectives, materials, curriculum alignments, and then the Sustainable Development Goals. And if we go a bit further down, we can see videos about what is the advantage of using electric cars, what is the disadvantage of electric cars and sustainable cities. You can share these videos using a smartboard during your class and share it with your students. Similar to the previous videos in the previous lessons, these are all interactive and they're asking your students about their opinions. If they answer correctly, the correct answer is again explained. If they answer incorrect, why the answer is incorrect will be again explained. And then we can see that there's a challenge called remote controlled car, which we will be doing today. The remote controlled car challenge, if you click on this, you will see all the steps to this challenge and you will see the explanations of everything. But right now we're not going to be getting into it because we're going to be doing it together. If you go a little bit further, you can see that there are loads of other challenges as well, which you can do during your class or you can assign them to your students. You can monitor their progress during the reports as we spoke about during the previous videos. Now let's see how the electric car is made. Before we start the experiment, you can see all the materials that we're going to be using in front of me. We have our coding module, our power source, 2 DC motors, 2 wheels, our buzzer, which we'll be using as a horn, our wheel, and then we have 2 wires in order to connect the pieces together. And then we have 4 parts that we're going to be using to secure everything together. We have 1 4x1, and then, we have 2 4x1 pieces and then 2 4x2 pieces that we're going to be using. And then we're going to have our plate that we're going to be using to secure everything together. Firstly, we need to make sure that we're taking off these white plastic pieces out of our motor so we can connect it with the wheels. So it can be a little bit hard, so you may have to pull it. So if the students are struggling with it, you can help them out. Also, after we take this out, we're going to connect the wheels onto this. So we can look at the little metal piece here and we can see that it has kind of like a D shape, which is also present in the wheels, like the empty side of the wheels as well. So when we're connecting the two together, we have to make sure that they align so they can go in easily. If not, it's going to be a bit more difficult to connect the 2 pieces. We're going to do this for both wheels. I had already taken out the white piece from this one. Okay. We're going to also make sure that they're not pushed all the way in so they can actually work as wheels of a car. After we put the wheels on the motors, we can connect the wheels with the wires. We're using the wires to be able to connect the wheels with the coding module. So after we connect the wheel and the wire, we're going to use one of the 2x4 pieces to secure the 2 together. And then we're also going to put one of the 1x4 pieces on this side because we're going to be using these as a tool to connect the wheel on our plate. And then we can do the same on the other side. After we connect these pieces, we're gonna put them on our plate. We will have to make sure that they're on the right side. So for example, on this wheel, it says right. So I'm gonna put it on the right side. I'm gonna connect them from the bottom so that it can actually work as a car. And then I'm gonna do the same on the left side as well. Making sure that they're aligned. Now we can connect our wires to the coding module. So we can put the coding module sideways, and then we're going to connect them to D6 and D10. After we do this, we can stabilize it on the plate as well. It might be easier to connect the coding module with the wires before you put them on the plate because it might get a little bit harsher. And then we have our third wheel to make sure that it can actually move, and we're going to put it on the front. After we put the last wheel on, we're going to connect our buzzer, which is going to act as our horn. And then our last step is going to be connecting our power source to the coding module. Again, we're going to make sure that the USB is aligned. Since this is a micro USB, it might be a little bit difficult to put it exactly where it's supposed to go, but we have to make sure that we're not using excessive force and we're aligning the two so that there is no harm done to it. And lastly, we're going to be using our twin coding module and connecting to the car and driving it like a remote controlled car. When we open our app, we're going to see coding, experiments, and controller. Previously, we had gone into coding. Now we're going to go into controller. After we go into controller, we're going to scroll a little bit down and we're going to see the driving mode. After we see the driving mode, you can see that there's a start button and then there's a how it works button. If you go into the how it works button, you can see which pieces you're going to use, what you're supposed to connect with each other, and how to drive it. But we are doing it right now, so we don't need to get into that in detail. If we click start, and then we click the button on the down right-hand side, the app is going to start searching for twins, and since I'm the only twin around, it's going to connect very easily. To test whether we actually successfully connected, we can test our horn. And as you can see, we have connected and the car is working, so now we can go forward. So when I try and go forward, the car is actually coming backwards, and when I try and go backwards, it's going forwards. This is a common mistake done when doing this experiment. This is due to the wiring. To fix this, we can actually, as you can see right now, the wires are connected to the coding module in a straight manner. To fix this, we can just take them off this coding module and do them in a crisscross manner. And if you switch around the places where the wires are connected to the coding module, this should fix the problem. And when I go forward, the car will now go forward. And when I go backwards, it will go backwards.